Hi everyone, welcome to On the Other Hand. I'm Ariane Zurcher, and today I'm going to be demonstrating Bullion Tendrils. I started doing this a couple of months ago, and it's just so much fun, and I'll show you the threads that I find it easiest to do. We'll explore the different threads that you can use for the Bullion Tendril. There aren't that many, actually, to get it to look the way I like it to look. If you just want a really fat tendril, you could certainly do a heavier weight. I prefer it to being a little skinnier and more delicate. So we'll work through all of that. Don't forget to hit the like button, click on that subscribe button, and a little bell will pop up for email notifications. And I love hearing from you, so talk to me. Grab something to stitch with, grab a needle and some thread, and let's stitch some Bullion Tendrils. For the Bullion Tendril, this is my favorite thread to use. It's Sue Spargo's Razzle thread. This is 04. I use a bullion knot needle. I like it. It's longer than the number 3 Milner's. Do you see how much longer it is? And I need every bit of length that I can get. So I'm going to go ahead and do a quilter's knot. I'm going to do it here, and I figure my center is sort of in there somewhere. I'm going to go just as I would a bullion knot. I'm going to come out wherever I want this to go. So if I want it to come to here, that's where I'm going to put my needle in. Then I come up right where I came out originally. Now I'm going to start my wraps. That's 20, and I slide them down as I go. That's 37. Now I take my pliers and I have to start pulling this. It's 46. Oops. All right, well, we're going to make 46 for the first one. Didn't mean to pull that all the way through. What you can do is you can start manipulating those wraps so that they get thinner as they come to this little end. And what will happen is they start to look like little legs of a sea creature or something, or a root. This one isn't long enough to really get anywhere, but do you see how it's fatter here and then it gets thinner here? I like that, and it will make it turn. It starts to curl. So I'm going to anchor my thread down here. Now I want to be careful not to pull it through too much, or I pull the whole leg in. I can now knot this. And for some of you who are just beginning, knotting it is not a bad idea. First of all, you want to make sure that this back isn't pulling the whole thing together and distorting your wool. So by knotting it, you're ensuring that it's not going to move. I'm going to knot it. I don't usually. It's not a bad idea to do it. I'm now going to come back into my center. Do you see how it's curling? And I'm going to come out over here, back to where my thread originated, start my wraps. Now, let's do it a different way. Let's do it the opposite direction, wrapping, and see what happens. That's 50. That's 70. Let's see what that looks like. I need my pliers to do this. Some people say they have little plastic things, and that's great if that works for them. I just find pliers are much easier. I'm not going to worry that this just happened. I'm going to just hold on to that, and I'm going to pull through while holding on to those wraps with my thumb and index finger of my other hand. Pull it down, and now I can do the same thing if I want, or I can leave it. Do you see how it's not really twisting? It's twisting a little bit, but it's kind of even, and it's twisting in the opposite direction as this one. So if you like that, and that's something that you think is fun to play with, you can change the direction and manipulate the wraps so that they twist in different directions. So there's that one. I'm going to anchor that down, and I'm going to do another one right here. $30, $40, $50, this point, I really do need to pull it a little bit. So I can do that. And now I just keep going. I don't worry about that. So that's 90, and I'm going to go ahead and pull this through. You could do as many as you want. This is the part that's tricky, making sure that this wrap doesn't have any big, bulgy, knotty parts. Also, keeping aware of that knot in the back pulling, that thread in the back pulling. We don't want it to pull. So I can even go back here and kind of give it a little pull, and I'm going to anchor my thread here. That's 60. Now what I do is, it's hard to do this, by the way. This is not easy. And I have to do sometimes piecemeal, and sometimes it does this, and that's okay. So I'm going to keep doing this, and I don't worry when it gets all funky looking. I just pick it up and kind of tweak it, and you can manipulate it. It's not, nothing is lost, you know? So there it is. I want to make sure that that back is okay, not pulling. I can even check it, and I can get a bigger needle, and I can pull that to ensure that it doesn't pull my shape and pull the wool in, changing the shape. I'm going to tie this off. Here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and now I'm going to do one more that is, I'm going to say like 100 wraps maybe. $50. 70. I'm going to pull it a little bit so that I can get a little more wraps in here. So see what I'm doing here? I undo it, and I'm going to keep wrapping. That's 90. That's 110. All right, that's a nice amount. I'm going to pull this through, and then if I want that tendrilled in, I'm going to manipulate those bottom wraps so that they're skinnier, skinny, and I can make it. Now I'm going to anchor my thread in here, making sure I don't pull that through. I'm going to do this in a couple of different threads. I've got my number 8 variegated eleganza, and I'll show you what that looks like. All right, this is with my number 8 eleganza. It's EZM 36. I'm going to go ahead and start my wraps. It's 20. $70. Okay, I'm going to get my pliers, pull through, and as before, I'm going to start pulling this tightly. So with this thread, I could have done a lot more. I'm going to do another one over here. Okay, I'm using silk and pearl. This is Pearled Blues, and I'm going to do one right here. So I've done Razzle, I've done a variegated eleganza, and now I'm doing a silk and pearl, and you can see what that looks like. $40. 50, 60, 70. I have to pull it through a little bit because I don't have enough needle here, so I can keep going. All right, so this is 100. This is just a lot harder to pull through than the eleganza or the razzle, and I don't know why, but it really is. It's just a lot more challenging. So this is the silken pearl, and for whatever reason, it just is very difficult to do the bullion tendril. I've tried it a couple of times. It is very hard to pull through. It doesn't slide the way these two do. Well, it's just different. I'm now going to finish it off with just a couple of these. I'll do probably one more in this one. You could use a number 8 weight House of Embroidery, the new line that Sue Spargo is carrying. I bet that would look really lovely. What else? I think what other threads there are that are an 8 weight. You could probably use any of the silk threads that come in those combo packages that Sue sells. Gimp wouldn't work. It's too twisty. That would be a nightmare. Yeah, you need something that's smooth and it doesn't have a lot of ply to it. You need something that's wound. I'm going to do a couple of those. All right, so here I have my little Medusa, and this is my razzle here. This is eleganza. This is the silken pearl. Here also is razzle, and so is this one. This is the original one that I did when I first started. I don't know if it was the first time I ever made these, but it's one of the early attempts. And then here is razzle in a solid color. Thanks so much for watching. If you haven't tried the tendril before, perhaps this will give you the courage to give it a shot. I do find I need my pliers, but do whatever works. And I do prefer doing it in either the eleganza or the razzle. Those are the two threads that I've found work best. By all means, try other threads if you want to and see how they go. Let me know how it works. Don't forget to hit that like button. Click on the subscribe button and the little bell that pops up for email notifications. I love hearing from you. Leave me comments in the comment section. Tell me what threads you've tried and what works best for you. Don't forget to check out the description section where I'll leave links to all the threads I've used. And until next time, here's to stitching together.